December 14, 2022, a Wednesday morning in Atlanta. The Georgia sun cuts through the winter air as a young man walks out of Fulton County Jail after 7 months behind bars. His name is Sergio Kitchens, but the world knows him as Gunna. He should be celebrating. He's free. The RICO case that threatened to destroy his life is behind him. But as he steps into the sunlight, Gunna faces something worse than any jail cell. The entire hip-hop community calling him a snitch. The word spreads like wildfire. Twitter explodes. Instagram stories pile up. Fellow rappers who once called him brother now treat him like a disease. Fans who screamed his lyrics at concerts now burn his merchandise. The man who had been one of hip-hop's biggest stars is now its most hated figure. Everyone says his career is over, that no one will ever work with him again, that he'll never recover from the snitching allegations. They're wrong. 6 months later, Gunna will drop a song that silences every critic, tops every chart, and proves that sometimes the best revenge is massive success. This is the story of how a man everyone called a snitch became the king of the charts. But to understand how Gunna pulled off one of the greatest comebacks in hip-hop history, we need to go back to the beginning. Back to College Park, Georgia, where a kid named Sergio Kitchens first discovered that music could be his salvation. June 14, 1993, College Park, Georgia. Sergio Giovanni Kitchens enters the world in a place that doesn't expect much from kids who look like him. His mother raises him and his 4 older brothers in a house where love is abundant but money isn't. At 15, while his friends are getting into trouble, Sergio discovers something magical happens when he puts words to beats. There's something different about his voice, his flow, his natural ability to ride a rhythm that sets him apart from every other kid in College Park with rap dreams. But being talented in Atlanta is like being tall in the NBA. Everyone's got something. The city produces more hip-hop talent per capita than anywhere else in the world. Standing out here isn't just about being good, it's about being undeniable. For years, Sergio grinds in obscurity. He makes mixtapes, performs at small venues, builds a dedicated following, but Special doesn't pay bills. In a city full of Special, Sergio is still just another rapper from College Park, dreaming of something bigger. Then, in 2015, everything changes with a single introduction. Keith King Troupe is a legend in Atlanta. He's not a rapper or producer, he's a connector. King knows everyone worth knowing in Atlanta's music scene, and when he hears Sergio's music, he doesn't just hear talent, he hears destiny. The introduction King arranges changes Sergio's life forever. He sets up a meeting between Sergio and Jeffrey Williams, better known as Young Thug. Young Thug is building something unprecedented in hip-hop. YSL Records isn't just a record label, it's a family, a movement. When Young Thug first hears Sergio's music, something clicks. He doesn't just sign Sergio to a record deal, he adopts him into the YSL family. He gives him a new name, Gunna. Under Young Thug's mentorship, Gunna develops his signature sound, melodic trap that bridges street credibility and mainstream appeal. His voice becomes his instrument, conveying emotion and melody in ways traditional rap often can't. The Drip Season mixtape series becomes Gunna's calling card. Success comes quickly. By 2018, Gunna is no longer just Young Thug's protege. He's a star in his own right. His album Drip or Drown 2 debuts at number 3 on the Billboard 200. He's selling out arenas, collecting platinum plaques, living the dream. The YSL family grows around him. They represent a new wave of Atlanta hip-hop that's both commercially successful and artistically innovative. They're changing the sound of rap while making millions doing it. But success in hip-hop comes with scrutiny. Law enforcement has been watching YSL for years. To prosecutors, the collective success looks suspicious. The investigation builds slowly, quietly. Wiretaps are authorized. Social media posts are screenshotted. Song lyrics are analyzed for hidden meanings. The irony is devastating. The very success that YSL worked so hard to achieve becomes the thing that makes them targets. Their music, their celebration of overcoming struggle, all of it gets reframed as evidence of criminality. May 9th, 2022, a Monday morning that shatters everything. Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis announces a sweeping RICO indictment against 28 individuals associated with YSL Records. The allegation is shocking. YSL isn't just a record label, it's a criminal street gang. Young Thug is arrested. 2 days later, they come for Gunna. The arrest is surreal. One moment, Gunna is living the life of a successful recording artist. The next, he's in handcuffs, being processed into jail like any other defendant. The charges against Gunna are serious, but not as severe as those facing Young Thug. One count of conspiracy to violate the RICO Act. But in RICO cases, peripheral can still mean decades in prison. Gunna's legal team fights for bail. They argue he's not a flight risk, has strong community ties, no prior record. The prosecution argues YSL members are dangerous. The judge sides with prosecution. Bail is denied. For Gunna, the denial is devastating. It means sitting in jail for months, possibly years, while his career crumbles. The music industry begins erasing him from memory. Streaming services remove his music from playlists. Radio stations stop playing his songs. The machine that built his success starts working in reverse. Summer turns to fall, fall turns to winter. Gunna sits in Fulton County Jail, watching his life fall apart through news reports. The psychological toll is immense. He's gone from selling out arenas to sharing a cell with strangers. By December 2022, Gunna faces an impossible choice. His lawyers present an option that could end his incarceration immediately, but might destroy his reputation, an Alford plea. The Alford plea allows defendants to maintain innocence while acknowledging the prosecution has enough evidence to potentially secure conviction. For Gunna, it represents a way out of an impossible situation. But Gunna understands the potential consequences. In hip-hop culture, taking any kind of deal can be seen as cooperation with law enforcement. It's an impossible choice between legal freedom and cultural acceptance. December 14, 2022, Gunna makes his decision. He enters his offer plea to one count of conspiracy to violate Georgia's RICO Act. He's sentenced to 5 years with 4 suspended. He can walk out that same day. Legally, it's a victory. His lawyers emphasize he hasn't cooperated with prosecutors, hasn't provided information, hasn't agreed to testify. But the hip-hop community doesn't hear the legal nuances. All they see is a rapper who took a deal while his friends stayed locked up. All they hear is one word: snitch. The backlash is immediate and brutal. Social media explodes with accusations. The word snitch trends alongside Gunna's name. Former collaborators distance themselves publicly. Lil Baby unfollows him on Instagram. Other YSL artists make their positions clear. The message is consistent. Gunna chose himself over the family. What gets lost is the complexity of Gunna's situation. The Alford plea specifically allowed him to maintain innocence. He didn't provide information to prosecutors. He didn't agree to testify against anyone. His lawyer tries to clarify Gunna did not snitch to get out of jail. He has said nothing and is not cooperating. But in the court of public opinion, perception matters more than facts. For 6 months, Gunna disappears from public view. No interviews, no social media, no appearances. The silence is deafening. The hip-hop world writes him off. Industry executives move on. Former collaborators find new partners. But Gunna is working on something that will speak louder than any interview. New music, June 16, 2023, Gunna's 30th birthday. Without warning, without promotion, Gunna drops A Gift and a Curse, a 15-track album that serves as both confession and comeback. The album is deeply personal. The title reflects the duality of his situation. His talent is both a gift that brought success and a curse that made him a target. On Bread and Butter, Gunna addresses the allegations directly. What I pay the lawyers all those meals for if I was gon' tell. It's a logical argument wrapped in melodic flow, but it's the second single that changes everything. Fukumin. Fukumin isn't just a song, it's a statement of defiance wrapped in irresistible melody. Over a hypnotic beat, Gunna delivers his signature flow with confidence that suggests he never doubted his comeback. The hook is simple but infectious. What you mean? It works on multiple levels. What do you mean I'm finished? What do you mean I can't come back? More importantly, Fuku mean sounds like classic Gunna. Not bitter, not defensive, just pure musicality that reminds everyone why he became a star. The response is immediate but complicated. Despite controversy, despite boycotts, Fuku Mean starts climbing charts. Radio stations are hesitant, streaming services bury it. But music has a way of finding its audience. Fans who have been quiet start streaming the song. TikTok users create dances. Even critics find themselves nodding to the beat, caught between principles and playlists. By July 2023, the impossible happens. Fuku Mean hits #1 on the Billboard Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs chart. It's Gunna's first solo #1, coming when everyone thought his career was over. But the real vindication comes with mainstream crossover. Fuku Mean becomes Gunna's first solo top 10 Hot 100 hit, peaking at #4. It goes multi-platinum. It dominates radio. It becomes the song of summer. The irony is impossible to ignore. The man everyone called a snitch has just dropped the biggest hit of his career. The success forces the hip-hop community to confront uncomfortable truths about their rush to judgment. Maybe they were wrong about Gunna. Maybe they didn't understand the legal complexities. Maybe they let mob mentality override facts. Slowly the tide turns. Artists who distance themselves show subtle support. Fans begin streaming again. The industry starts taking meetings. But the most important validation comes from the charts themselves. Fuku Mean doesn't just succeed despite controversy, it succeeds because it's undeniably good music. The success proves something critics didn't want to admit. You can't cancel genuine talent. You can try to destroy someone's reputation, turn the industry against them, make their path nearly impossible. But if they're truly gifted, they'll find a way back. Gunna's comeback highlights the complexity of the snitching allegations that nearly destroyed him. The hip-hop community's reaction was based on incomplete information and mob mentality rather than facts. The offer plea everyone criticized was actually smart legal strategy. More importantly, Gunna never actually cooperated with prosecutors. He never provided information. He never testified. The snitching everyone accused him of simply never happened. But by the time facts became clear, damage was done. Gunna had been tried and convicted in public opinion. The only way to overturn that verdict was through undeniable music. Fuku Mean was that music. It was Gunna's closing argument, his proof that he belonged regardless of what anyone thought about his legal decisions. The song's success revealed something about hip-hop fans the industry often forgets. They care more about music than politics. Despite controversy, despite pressure to boycott, fans chose Fuku Mean because it was a great song, period. Today, Gunna's comeback stands as one of the most remarkable in hip-hop history. He went from most hated man in rap to having the biggest song in the genre in less than a year. He proved talent transcends controversy, good music finds its audience, and sometimes the best response to criticism is being undeniably excellent. The story of Gunna's fall and rise is ultimately about the power of music itself. In a world where careers can be destroyed overnight, where public opinion shifts on incomplete information, where loyalty is valued more than truth, Gunna found salvation in his ability to make music that moves people. Fuku Mean didn't just rehabilitate Gunna's career, it reminded the hip-hop world why they fell in love with him. It proved that when everyone calls you finished, the best response is showing them you're just getting started. The song became more than a comeback single. It became a cultural reset, proving that authenticity isn't about following cultural codes. It's about being true to your artistic vision. Everyone called Gunna a snitch, then he dropped a hit, and in doing so, he proved that music transcends politics, talent transcends controversy, and sometimes the most powerful response to critics is creating something undeniable. The beat goes on, and so does Gunna.